imagine this. You're lying in bed, lights off, phone glowing inches from your face. You're not even enjoying what you're scrolling. Your thumb moves automatically. Refresh. Refresh again. A post gets a few likes. A message notification doesn't come. And somehow your chest feels a little tighter than before. Why does silence feel so loud? Why does being unseen feel heavier than being alone? Why does one notification have the power to lift your mood or quietly ruin it? You tell yourself you're just bored, just tired, just killing time. But if that were true, why does putting the phone down feel like disappearing? There's something deeper happening here. Something that has less to do with technology and much more to do with the human need to be seen, felt, and emotionally confirmed. What you're dealing with isn't a phone addiction in the usual sense. It's a validation addiction, a quiet, modern form of emotional dependency that hides behind screens, likes, replies, and subtle signs of attention. At its core, it's the nervous system searching for reassurance that you matter. This shows up in small, everyday ways. Checking your phone the moment you feel uncertain, posting something and watching the numbers instead of your own emotions, feeling slightly anxious when messages go unanswered, feeling strangely relieved when someone reacts, even if the interaction is shallow. These behaviors do mean you're weak or obsessed with attention. They mean you have unmet emotional needs that learn to look for safety externally. In psychology, this connects to attachment patterns, anxiety, and self-worth regulation. When internal emotional grounding feels unstable, the mind looks for mirrors, other people's reactions, to feel real. Over time, your sense of value shifts outward. Being seen becomes a form of emotional oxygen, and when it's missing, even briefly, the body interprets that absence as something being wrong with you. To understand why this pattern takes hold, it helps to see it not as a flaw, but as a survival mechanism. From childhood, most of us learned that attention and approval were linked to safety. A smile, a word of encouragement, or a nod of recognition told you, you're okay, you belong. Without it, uncertainty, fear, or subtle shame would creep in. Our nervous system memorizes that connection. Later in adulthood, it doesn't disappear, it just shifts forms. Now, social media, messaging apps, and constant digital connection are the modern stage for the same old wiring. Every like, comment, or viewed story triggers a mini dopamine hit, a fleeting sense that you are noticed, valued, alive. But these hits are shallow. They provide instant reassurance without building real emotional security. Your mind learns to chase them, often unconsciously. This isn't just about scrolling aimlessly, it's about emotional conditioning. Over time, your mood, your sense of self, even your confidence become tied to external signals. A delayed reply feels like rejection. A post with low engagement feels like a personal failure. A friend liking someone else's content first sparks an inexplicable sting. Even in relationships or at work, this pattern mirrors itself. Subtle manipulation, people-pleasing, overextending for acknowledgement, all echo the same psychological root, the fear of being invisible, unvalued, or forgotten. Modern life has amplified it, making the need to be seen constant, unavoidable, and almost invisible until it starts to quietly shape your every choice. Most of the time, you don't even notice it happening. These behaviors are automatic, subtle, woven into your daily life like background noise. You check your phone without thinking, sometimes multiple times in a row just to see if someone has acknowledged you. You might craft posts carefully, editing not just the words but the image of yourself you want others to confirm. And then you sit, waiting for the small signal that says, you exist, you matter. You might catch yourself refreshing a conversation thread, rereading old messages, or replaying interactions in your head. Maybe you apologize unnecessarily or agree with people even when it doesn't feel authentic, because rejection feels unbearable. Sometimes you scroll past hours of content without enjoying it, yet you can't stop. These are all signs that your emotional patterns are operating unconsciously. Your brain is wired to seek recognition, reassurance, and validation externally. You may even feel a strange anxiety when your phone is out of reach, or when someone doesn't respond on time. Your mood subtly shifts based on how others perceive you, rather than how you perceive yourself. For more communication, like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Recognizing these patterns doesn't mean condemning yourself. It means seeing the invisible strings that shape your behavior, the small ways modern loneliness, attachment fears, and validation addiction quietly govern your decisions and emotions. Once you notice them, you start to regain choice. When this need to be seen becomes constant, it quietly erodes more than just your attention span. Your sense of self starts to slip, because your value depends on external approval rather than your own inner experience. Over time, you may notice a subtle emptiness, an emotional fatigue that no notification can fix. Relationships start to feel fragile. You may overextend for others, acknowledgement, tolerate disrespect, or stay in connections that drain you, all in the hope of feeling visible. Friendships can become transactional, based on the rhythm of likes, messages, or attention rather than genuine connection. Your mind begins to run on autopilot. Anxiety creeps in at small pauses or delays. Emotional patterns repeat unconsciously. You may lose track of who you are outside the gaze of others. Your preferences, boundaries, even your quiet moments of joy begin to feel secondary. Left unchecked, this cycle can lead to chronic loneliness, persistent self-doubt, and mental exhaustion. It's not about failing or being weak. It's about the cost of giving your emotional survival to signals you can't control. The longer it persists, the harder it is to reclaim your own sense of being seen from within. Breaking free from this invisible pull doesn't require grand gestures. It starts with small, intentional practices that shift where you source your emotional safety. Here are a few exercises you can try today. 1. The pause before the scroll. Every time you reach for your phone, pause for 3 deep breaths. Notice what you're feeling. Are you bored, anxious, lonely, or simply seeking validation? Numbing the emotion out loud or in a journal. "I feel unseen right now," interrupts the automatic loop. This pause gives your mind the chance to meet your emotional needs internally instead of reflexively looking outside. Over time, you'll notice you're less driven by the immediate signal of a notification. 2. Controlled visibility practice. Pick one small way to step back from external validation intentionally. For example, post something and mute the notifications for an hour or a full day, or decide to read comments without responding. The goal isn't punishment, it's building trust in your own presence, independent of others' approval. Each time you do this, your nervous system learns that being unseen doesn't equal being unsafe. 3. Mirror the inner witness. Set aside 5 minutes to look at yourself in the mirror without judgment. Simply observe your face, your posture, your expression. Say quietly to yourself, "I see you. I'm here." This may feel strange at first, but it strengthens your internal validation system, the part of you that can feel real and complete without external mirrors. Pair this with journaling. Write down moments where you sought external approval and explore what you really needed. These exercises work because they retrain your nervous system and mind. You start to notice the difference between seeking safety from others and anchoring safety within yourself. Emotional patterns that once ran on autopilot become visible, giving you the power to choose instead of reacting. Take a moment to sit with this. What would it feel like to be seen, truly seen, without needing anyone else to confirm it? To carry the quiet certainty that your presence matters, even in silence. Change doesn't come from perfection or from forcing yourself to stop checking your phone. It begins with awareness, noticing the subtle ways your mind has been seeking validation outside yourself. Each pause, each mirror moment, each intentional step away from automatic scrolling is a small reclaiming of your emotional life. You don't have to do it all at once. Start where you are. Observe, reflect, and be gentle with yourself. Your need to be seen isn't a weakness. It's a doorway to understanding how deeply your emotions, attachments, and self-worth are intertwined. If a moment in this felt familiar, consider letting it linger. Journal it, breathe it, or share it with someone who understands. Even just noticing it quietly is the first act of reclaiming yourself. Thank you for watching.